You're listening to Coffee and Clouds, a podcast where you will be hearing inspirational stories of people from varying industries and their respective roads to success. My name is Jay Shrek. Let's have a conversation. All right, welcome to Coffee and Clouds. This is Jay Shrek here. I'm here with Johnny Griffith, a New Jersey rapper. How you doing, John?
I'm doing good, man. You know, I've been looking forward to this. It's a nice Saturday night. You know, what better time to be spending Saturday night than with my man Jay right here sipping on some Cafe Bustelo.
That's right. Cheers for that.
Cheers, man.
You know, I love my Bustelo.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
It's no secret about that. I should be sponsored by them, but like, what do you buy? Cafe Bustelo.
Yeah. Hey, man, you know, everything's marketing, man. And, you know, they got a good product and you got a good product. So, you know what I'm saying? Why not?
It'd be the marrying of two great products.
That's right. I
see you got a Vikings cup. So are you a Vikings fan, huh?
I am a Vikings fan. I don't know if you see that. Like, I go hard, man. I go hard. That's my skull across the knuckles right there.
All right.
You know, my father was a Vikings fan. He grew up in like the Purple People Eaters time and whatnot. So it kind of just passed down and now I bleed purple, man.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, bro.
I can respect that. I was born and raised Giants fan, so, and then I try to do that with both my boys and now my little ones, the little girls. So, they watch, but they don't watch too much. So, like, you know, it'd be nice if we all got together, watched the game. So
yeah, man. Yeah, it actually backfired on me because my son, I don't even know how this happened, but he became a Miami Dolphins fan. So don't even ask me, bro. I decked this kid. He was born the year that Brett Favre signed.
Okay.
The first year, and it was just like the nostalgia. And actually that year, me and my father, we actually flew to Minnesota for the Monday night game. Brett Favre versus the Packers, bro. It was insane. And my son was in the womb at the time. He was born on a Sunday. And Minnesota was playing the Lions. It was like towards the end of the season. Mm-hmm. And my wife is like giving birth to him. And I got the phone in this hand. I'm listening on the phone. You know what I mean? But ever since he came out the womb, he was in the Vikings onesie and everything. And then when he turned like 4 or 5 years old, he started gravitating to that fish, man. And he just became a, Dolphin fan. I'm like, all right, it's all good, man.
For my younger son, his uncle is a huge Falcons fan, and he tried to turn him into a Falcons fan. I said, "Don't you dare!"
Yeah, it's almost like sacrilegious, right?
Yeah. So you grew up in Jersey, and you grew up as a Giants fan. I was born and raised Giants fan. So were you.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of fell off the past couple of seasons with watching them. So I'm just starting to like get back into it now, and it's funny because I have my newborn daughter.
Mm-hmm. Congratulations, by the way, man.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Beautiful thing.
Thank you. Yeah, I sit her on my lap during the Giants games and we were watching and she's watching intently. I was like, she's going to be the one that's going to sit with me and watch all the games with me.
Yeah, bro. My daughter followed in my footsteps. At least she still rocks with the purple, you know?
All right.
Yeah, man.
So, you've been rapping since as far as you can remember.
Man, I just always had this fascination with like rhymes in general. Like I remember going as far back as like, first grade, second grade or whatever, whenever basic rhymes got introduced. And, I was just like, wow, I just like was fascinated with the fact that you could have these words that like, some of them are spelled kind of different, but still at the same time, they have this, common, thing about them. And you could like have a bunch of them, you know what I mean? Like light, bright, night, tight. And I was just like, wow. And then you can make sentences out of it and then make it like coherent and like tell a story in a rhyming fashion. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I took to that pretty young, you know?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I know you said you are used to rap on the karaoke machine.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Getting some practice in early.
Yeah, man. So like back then it was, everything was pretty much CDs, tape deck. It wasn't like, no streaming, nothing like that, MP3 or whatnot. So what we would do, like I would just go to my man's house. I'd be like, yo, get me as much instrumentals as you can get. He was savvy with computers, so he knew where to go to get whatever. And he would just burn me CDs of like just instrumentals. Okay. And I would just like, have them in the CD player, writing and whatnot. And then one time I went to Radio Shack and I seen it had a karaoke machine and it would be like, you could put the CD on top and then in the bottom you could, record with tape. So if it was somebody doing karaoke, I guess they could record themselves. But I'm like, but I could probably do that with rap.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I would put the instrumental up top. I'd have the microphone in my hand, and then I would just press record on the tape, and then I would have like tapes.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And it was cool for back then, bro. I was like, yo, this is what's up, you know? So I had people come over the crib, you know, smoke mad weed and just like pass the mic around and just freestyle, rap or whatever, man. And
right. Yeah.
Yeah, man. That's when it got real.
And do you still have possession of those tapes?
Nah, man. Unfortunately, I'm not. But like, I really wish I was, because there was some shit. I mean, like, obviously, just for the fact to see growth, you know what I mean? Like back then, being a young teen, and like, you know, then now to hear where I am now, and like just to have it for the keepsake purpose. And I really wish I did have a tape, man. You know what I mean? But I don't have none of the tapes, bro.
That'd be awesome. I'm sure you would be able to convert it to CD and then to the MP3 or something.
Sure, man.
And that'd be kind of wild to listen to, like a throwback on it.
Sure.
I
bro.
used to do the same thing. I mean, I grew up, we're probably about the same age. I used to plug my mic into the double deck cassette I had, and I would try to do some rap and stuff like that, because I was always fascinated with it too. And I actually had recorded a few of my own things back when I was younger, but I can't find any of it. I used to write too, and I remember I used to write just listening to Nas. Like Nas, Nas really, like, he brought out something in me that I just wanted to write and rap. And I tried, and I wish I could find that notebook just to kind of like, go back and take a look and see. Like, I recorded a few, like a few verses with a few friends of mine. I had a lot of fun doing it. I enjoyed doing it. I've always listened to raps. That was like all I listened to for probably about 2 decades of my life. And then I started, to open up a little bit, bring in more genres, but rap has always been, especially when Wu-Tang came out. I know you're a Wu-Tang fan too. So.
Yeah, man, absolutely. METHOD, man. And that was kind of like that's what pretty much I would say that song probably set it off for me. And then Cream, and the Raekwon, Only Built for Cuban Links, like the purple tape. Yeah, bro. Like that was like, you know what I mean? That was just, it was just something about it. I was born in 85, man. So like Wu-Tang popped. I was pretty young. Like, I don't even know if I was 10 years old listening to Wu-Tang. I might have been like under 10. You know what I'm saying? Like Wu-Tang popped pretty early, maybe around like 10 actually. Yeah, maybe like mid 90s. Yeah, man. Yeah. And they another like super group. Like you just had like so many MCs that were just so skilled and like, but they came together. It was just like something to behold, like nothing you've ever seen at that point. You know what I mean? For me, I've never seen nothing like that. Yeah. You know,
and they were definitely a first of his kind.
Man.
I really knew what he was doing when he put that together. He changed the whole game. He changed everything because before that, it was you signed a deal as a group and that was it. You couldn't go solo. And he said, well, why are we going to restrict ourselves to just that? I mean, and he just completely revolutionized the industry when he came out. Absolutely. Had that clause in the contract where as a group we're Wu-Tang, but we're also, individuals that can do our own thing. And that just, that was just, so smart on his behalf.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Because like, Meth, man, when he just like, I don't know, man, it was just something about that whole MET. And then he linked up with Mary, and it was just like, wow, like he had the solo potential, but then and he was still kill it in the group too. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was like, it was something to behold, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, sure was. I'm a little bit older. I was about 17, 18 when Wu-Tang dropped. And I just remember just, sitting around, group of friends in a cypher, just, smoking and fucking listening to the Wu-Tang, like, be like, oh yeah, Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Like, hell yeah, they're not. Hell yeah, they just kind of just, escalated from there. And it was just like, now they just become almost like their own cult. Yeah, man. Here we are, what 20 years later? Yeah. And we're still talking about them. We're still, you can see my shirt.
There you go, bro. Yeah, bro. Yeah. I was even fucking with the ODB shit. Remember the ODB album with like his like welfare ID or whatnot?
Yeah, 36 Chambers.
Yeah, yo. I was like, wow, man. That was with the shimmy, yo. Like that was just some crazy shit. And then he dropped the shit with Mariah. I was like, yo, this shit is fucking fire, bro. Like, and then that just goes to show though, like that you had so many like talented individuals, but still, could be a collective. Like, you know what I mean? It was like I said, man, something to behold.
Oh, definitely. A funny story that I remember reading about about ODB was that Ghetto Superstar song he was on.
Right.
He wasn't supposed to be on that. He was scheduled at the studio the same day, but he walked into the wrong studio, grabbed the mic, and just started spitting. And they were like,
"Oh shit!
Oh yes, just leave him on there because it sounded good."
Yeah, that was Maya, right?
That was Maya and Praz.
Praz, yeah.
And I was like, that was funny as hell that he just. I mean, that sounds, exactly like his character. But
yeah, man.
when I read that story, I don't know how true it is or not, but because there was a lot of stuff back. You used to read all like the Word Up magazines and Source and all of them magazines. But I'm pretty sure it was one of those that I read it in, and I remember I was just laughing. I was like, that sounds totally like him, but it worked on the song because it became a mega hit.
Yeah, man. And the crazy, I heard something about him too. Like even when he was getting money with Woo, he would still go and wait on the welfare line, and still get his boots. You gotta respect that cheese. Yeah, you gotta respect that G, bro. You know what I mean?
He was crazy. I've read a lot of stories about him that just made me laugh, and I just like definitely it's unfortunate he was taken way before his time.
Yeah, man.
But there was a lot of like Wu-Tang's so they still stayed on it, and they brought in Capadon in shortly after that, or I think around the same time. So and he filled in pretty nicely. But
sure, man.
Who else? I know you said there was some other influences like Tupac.
Sure, man. I grew up right in the heart of like the Biggie Tupac beef, bro. Like I was a youngster, you know what I'm saying? So like when I first heard Hit 'Em Up, like that was just like it was on I think it was on like a Clue, or it was on a mixtape that I had on a tape or whatever, and I would just play it back, like hit the rewind, because back then it was rewind, play, tape, you know what I'm saying? I would just play, that's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. Like, oh shit. And then just like everything about it, man, was just like, just like you could just hear the rawness in his voice. And then, like back then, that was probably the first beef, song I've ever heard in my life. You know what I mean? And it was just crazy, man. It was crazy. And even like hanging around in the streets at that time around everybody, like, it was just like, it was the hottest shit in the streets when it dropped. You know what I mean? Like it was crazy. And I'm from East, but I was during the time, I was definitely more Tupac than Biggie. Yeah, man, because of the Hit 'Em Up, man. Once I heard the Hit 'Em Up, and then like, Biggie didn't really come back really, like, you know what I mean? Like they say Who Shot You could have been subliminal or whatnot, but you know what I'm saying? Like during that time, I was just like, wow, Pac was just the shit, man. He was just spitting in the camera with the, like the whole nine. I'm like, yo, this dude is crazy, So yeah, man. Yeah, Pac was big, man. Pac was big in the early, come up, definitely.
Yeah. I listened to Pac a lot. And then once they had the beef, I took the Biggie side of the beef from the East Coast, but definitely Hit 'Em Up was one that that just ripped right through everything. Like that was one of those like, wow, what happened? And it was,
I mean, if you ask me now though, as a 35-year-old man and, rapping for so long, like, I mean, who's the better rapper? I mean, I think there's very few that ever grace God's green earth that's as silky smooth as Biggie Smalls, man. Like when it comes to just the flow and just the patterns and the words that he would use, and his whole swag about him and shit. Like the only motherfucker that can come get off with saying, you look so good, I'll suck your daddy's dick.
Yeah,
like who, you know what I'm saying? Like who's gonna get that? You know what I'm saying? So like I said, now I look back and I'm just like. Talent-wise, and who was the better rapper, I got to give it to Big. You know what I mean? With that, when it comes to that raw shit, that poetic, like that emotion and shit, I give it to Pac.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Two beautiful artists, though, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Cemented in history forever. You know?
It's saying like we're talking all these rappers, and like they were like in their prime. It was just like completely amazing. So, and it's they were all taken. Too early.
Yeah, man.
The three right there. But I can only imagine they were still alive today, like what they'd be putting out and what they would speak about, the state of the rap game now.
Bro, like that would be crazy. Like I don't even, if Biggie stayed alive, I don't know if Jay-Z is Jay-Z. You know what I mean? Saying like Biggie was Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, Biggie and Jay-Z, like, they obviously they was cool and shit, but like, Jay kind of blew like after Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's when he really exploded. Yeah. Not that, I mean, to me, Jay's the GOAT, like, as it stands, because, the longevity, he did live all these years and, put out all the stuff that he's done. You marry one of the most craziest, powerful women in the game, and, his finances, and he got all that, that's the pinnacle. Like, Jay-Z is the pinnacle of the rap game, first rap billionaire, right?
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like, not saying that he didn't have the potential to do it, but it would have been interesting to see, had Biggie stayed alive, where things would have went. Now, yeah, absolutely.
Well, even just to see the state of the game now, how much it has changed. Where now, back in those days, everything was lyrics.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
It's now it's more geared towards like the hotter beat, and the lyrics are like a secondary.
Right. It's more about melody now.
In the mainstream, that's how you get guys like Machine Gun Kelly. And then you see Machine Gun Kelly versus Eminem,
right?
And you see just the complete, absolute difference.
Right.
I mean, in my opinion, on the Machine Gun Kelly diss track that he did, he came off pretty good with it, and then Eminem just slayed him. But it just shows you, and I think they even spoke about that too, where they were speaking that the lyrics aren't as important anymore. That's why people like rappers like Machine Gun Kelly now.
Right. I mean, I don't know, man, because like, I think Machine Gun he ain't really, like, Machine Gun got lyrics. Like, if you really listen to him, like, you know what I mean? Like, he can rap. He can rap. Like, when I think of like the new school, like, I'm thinking more of like that, like that singing type, rap that people like, the melody rap. You know what I mean? Like, and I mean, now Machine Gun completely switched his whole shit. Like, now he's a rocker. Like, he's a punk rock. He goes from like beefing with Eminem to now like teaming up with Travis Barker and then making like crazy punk rock music. Right. Which sounds dope. I think it's a good lane for him.
Kind of reminiscent of Vanilla Ice's route.
Right. Well, he came with that other shit, right? What was it? Too cold, like that rock. He did the rock mix, right? To the Vanilla. Yeah, well, props to him for his real estate shit, because that's what really made him. Yeah. And not for nothing, love him or hate him, that man managed his money right, and he did it right. He's a success in life. You know what I'm saying? He's a success in life. Is he a joke in the music game? Yeah, but in life, that man's killing it, bro. He got the real estate shit popping, and he did it. He did it right.
He did. With your music, I could definitely tell that, you speak from the heart. You have a lot of passion you put into it. I like how your lyrics are always visible, whether it's in the YouTube video or in the caption on Instagram. So it just helps relay the message a lot more, and I like how you are able to change up different styles, like the one memoriam you did, the one that you did, like the country style-ish, it was like the New Jersey country style,
Right, right.
And, so you're able to kind of bounce back and forth and still keep it in the same genre. So you're able to keep yourself fresh. You're able to, keep yourself moving, and I'm sure that keeps people on their toes and interested,
I try, man. Like, I don't ever want to feel like I'm caught in a corner. I don't ever want to feel like, I can't just like switch it up, because like you said before, you were majority hip hop, but then other genres get introduced and stuff like that. Like right now, I'll listen to pretty much anything. There's nothing that I won't, that I'll just like start hearing and be like, oh, that's that particular genre. I ain't going to mess with it. I'll give anything a chance. You know what I mean? So like, when it came to like, especially like that country thing, you know what I mean? Like, you just had that Old Town Road was doing its thing or whatever. So I'm like, that's cute. It was cute. Right. So I was like looking for beats the one day and I came across it. And I think the dude's name was like Marlon, Beats by Marlon or something. Right. Okay. So I was like, yo, this is kind of crazy. Like, maybe I could capitalize on what's going on with this thing right now, the Old Town Road or whatever, right? So I had that beat and I held on to it for a long time, for like over a year, I think. And when I decided that I was just going to like drop a new video every week, like that just kind of happened. You know what I mean? Like back in June was when I did the memorial where I lost all those people in such a short amount of time, where I'm like, I got to speak on this, right. And Life Goes On is probably my favorite Tupac song. So I felt like it was kind of perfect, So after I did that, I'm like, now the next week it was received well. I started the YouTube channel, brand new, whatnot. So I was like, okay, cool. So then the next week came, and I had some stuff in the vault that I haven't released yet. So I'm like, wow, I could use YouTube as the platform to start releasing some of my unreleased stuff, right. As well as stuff that I have that, not many people heard, just that have been in the vault, So, and I just started doing that. And, when it came time, I had the country song in the vault, not fully finished. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to finish this country song, and I'm going to put this out. But I was talking to my wife, because all the videos that you've seen, not the lyric videos, obviously, but like all the videos that you've seen that I made was basically just done with my phone and iMovie.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've never done that before. I've never done any editing or nothing like that. I was kind of learning on the fly. So everything you see is just kind of me learning on the fly using my iPhone and iMovie on my iMac. And my iMac's old as hell too. It's from like 2011, but what I was using within my means. Yeah, man, within my means. I was recording myself on all my audio is pretty much recorded on GarageBand. You know what I mean? I got my booth, and I learned my editing and stuff in there, and I just worked within my means. I'm like, I'm just going to put content out with what I got. I ain't going to go crazy buying all new stuff. I got stuff. I'm just going to rock, And, so when it came time for that country, I told my wife, I'm like, yo, we got to find a farm. We got to look for a farm somewhere. Yeah. So she found this spot. It was in Clifton, New Jersey, which is like, it's city. I don't even know. Yeah. This was like finding a needle in a haystack. But there was this farm, and I was driving by, I'm seeing these fucking animals. I'm like, yo, what the? I was like, all right, let's go. You found it. We're going to do it. So we wound up shooting that part. I had a buddy earlier that week. It's crazy how the universe works. But I had a buddy earlier in the week. He was somewhere at a ranch, and he sent me this picture of chickens. I'm like, bro, you're around chickens right now? He's like, yeah. I'm like, where are you? And he was like 3-4 hours away. I'm like, all right, that can't. I was like, do me a favor. Grab some B-roll of some chickens if you could and send it to me. And he did. So the chickens you see in the video, I wasn't even like, those chickens were 4 hours away from me. But I messed around with some edits, slowed them down and whatnot. And it was fun, man. It was fun, And so I started doing that every week. I was dropping new videos, like, on the weekend, my wife would just record me, Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday I would drop them, and I would just spend all the time editing them, getting them ready. And I was doing that for a while, but then it started to get cold outside, So that's when I switched the style to the lyric videos, because I'm always I always feel like with my style of writing and how I do it, like, I always write in a fashion that, like, some things will be, I always feel people miss most things or what I'm trying to get across, So I figure at least if they're reading it with the words, shit may start, like, visually, like, oh shit, he meant, and they start catching my shit. You know what I mean? So I write in a puzzling type way, you know what I mean? But at the same time, I want people to get it, but I don't want it to be easy for them either. You know what I mean? So I love entendres, man. I love having double meaning, triple meaning to shit. And like, that's just, my little lane that, I think it's important, man. It's unique. And like, not a lot of people do that. The great ones do that, so, and that's why I model myself and my style after, that type of shit,
Yeah. Well, in your latest upload, listening to it, and then reading the lyrics, I could kind of see how, like, there was like 1 or 2 times where you started a word, and then it changed, and then following along the lyrics, it was like, oh, look at that, But,
yeah, man.
And that one, talking about from the vault, you said that was from 5 years ago,
right?
And it does kind of relate to what's going on today,
right, absolutely, man. That was like I was saying too, like, I did have this stuff in the vault, but a lot of that stuff went unheard. Like when I was doing it at the time, I didn't really put much marketing and shit behind it. And like, it was discouraging. So I kind of just like shelved it. And then I didn't really put much into putting another project together, because I felt like I poured my whole shit onto that last album, the John E = MC squared.
Right.
And like, I was a little discouraged, so I took a step back for a while. And, I'm always writing and shit, but I wasn't putting no like projects together, or I had no thoughts to, get any new albums or anything like that. But, when I put the YouTube channel out, I'm like, now I could pull from the vault and use this platform to kind of let this shit be heard now. Even though, like I said, it is from 5 years ago, but a lot of the shit is still relevant. You know what I mean? That shit, it's so personal that that'll never change. That's always going to be a part of my life. A lot of the stuff I'm talking about, that's not going nowhere. 10 years from now, I still had, an issue, or a family dispute, or, the things I'm talking about will always be relevant, you know? So
listening to that song and reading the lyrics in there, I had no idea. Like it felt so relevant, to today, at times and events. And when I hung around to the end and read that, this was from 5 years ago, and I was like, wow. I'm like, I never would have guessed that, because it did seem like it was straight from this year's events, so it was pretty wild. Another video I was watching with your lyrics, you mentioned the names of several of your songs. You played them into the lyrics. And I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, man. I'm happy you caught that, bro, because that was, that was on the name of the song is called The Omega. So that's it's the end of the album. So what I tried to do is give you a summarization and a recap of everything. And that was a key to incorporate all that. And one of the other key points of that last album is I didn't say one curse the whole album.
Until you mentioned that, I was like, yeah, he's right. I don't. Then I was trying to rewind in my head,
Right. But that was my point. When I started it, I'm like, I'm gonna make this shit so hard and so that people aren't even gonna realize that I'm not cursing. You know what I mean? And then at the end, I'll let them know, whole album I avoided the curse, and they're like, oh shit, and then it make them. The whole thing is I just want people to think, man. I don't want it to be easy for the listener. I want the listener to appreciate, the time that goes into it, the skill that goes into it. You know what I mean? It's an art. It's an art. So as any true artist, you want people to, appreciate and figure it out. I'll lay some shit out for you easy, but at the same time, I want to have little intricacies. And I know to this day, there's things that I write that people just look at and take it at face value and not realize that, well, if you go to the 2 bars before, I actually connected it. If you listen to the whole 6 bars as a whole, it was actually connected. I may have drifted over this way a little bit, but I brought it right back in and tied it in the end. Did you catch that? And I understand people's attention spans now is so small. You know what I mean? I said the attention span of the present fan isn't long. It is lesser than measuring an ant. You know what I'm saying? So short. It's hard for people to get shit nowadays. You know what I mean? So I understand that too, but I still got to stay true, to who I am.
Oh, absolutely. There's things that I pick up on that may be a little different than other people. I've listened to it, I analyze, and different people, they view things differently. They focus on different things. I can understand and appreciate, how you're doing it, because I did, kind of dabble slightly in dropping verses with it, and for me, the biggest, the hardest thing was to try to just make everything, or to complete something. You start with a thought, and you get maybe 3 or 4 lines in, and then you just kind of, okay, where do I go now? I mean, so that was one of the hardest things for me. So to hear the music you just continuously pump out is it could definitely be appreciated from my end, because I know how hard that is.
I appreciate you for that, man. I appreciate you for that.
You really blew my mind when I met you through Instagram. Obviously, I was following your stuff. A lot of the themes of your songs, or things that you were speaking of, really kind of grabbed me. And I passed you on to a friend of mine. Hey, check this out. And then I was looking for, the intro for the stuff.
Right.
And I remember I reached out to you and I said, you didn't know me from a can of paint.
Right.
And I was like, hey, would you mind doing something like this? And then you were like, I don't know anything about vaping, but yeah, sure. And I think it was within a week. You were just like, here you go. And I was like, you blew my mind. You blew my mind with that. And the accuracy of what you put into it, it was boom. And I was just like, wow. And I definitely appreciated you for that,
No doubt, man. That was cool, man. I'll give you a little backstory with that. I did do my homework, obviously, because I knew nothing about vaping. So I did, I had to look some shit up and make it, relevant as well. But with that, I had a song from like 2005, and it was called Certified Smokers. And the whole song was about smoking weed. Right. So and it was just shelf, just sitting there, whatever. But I had the beat, and the beat was so fire. It was like, and I was like, yeah, it was always a cool beat. Right. And when you asked me to do that, I was like, okay. And I went back, to the drawing board, seeing what I was going to put together. And when I was looking through my beat selection to see what I would use to do this vape song, one of the things was Certified Smoker. And in my head, I saw it and I was like, Certified Vapor. I'm like, oh shit. I said, okay, let me just see. So I played the beat, and I remembered a little, obviously I changed all the lyrics around, but I remembered a little bit how the flow went. So I just kind of like kept the flow and just rewrote all new lyrics to it. And then, I did my homework and put it together and, slung it back, recorded it myself. Like, and that was in the pretty much, like I never really recorded myself or dabbled with mixing or none of that. So that was kind of one of my first mixing jobs that I threw to you. I was like, I don't know if it'll be perfect, but I'll give you something. You know what I mean?
It definitely came out fire, and
man.
And like I said, you blew my mind with because I remember you said like, I don't really know much about vaping, but I'll go, I'll give it a whirl. And then it was like, here it is. I was like taken aback, like, wow. And then I played it, and it was like, and it's so catchy, it's contagious. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
I was like, and everybody I played it for, they were like, that is some straight fire. And I was like, man. I said, yeah, but he definitely.
And I like challenges
much
too.
love for that too. Yeah, I remember you said that. I remember you said you were like, I like challenges. So, but yeah, that was definitely, much love for that. No.
Well, salute to you for the challenge, man.
This is a track right here for the certified vapors. No cigarette, tea, juice with the flavors. Make that switch, new pods over new ports. No more lick, salt, nix on a new course. The community is usually immune to the scrutiny. The unity improves through the use of these box mods. No Marlboro box, give it a charge, bro, then blow a large. Yo, watch. Smoke circles, crazy pod hitters, looking like they came from the baby Godzillas. Big mouth, shout to the people getting down with the inhale, exhale, big cloud. Competition, the art of vaping is a smart escape from the sick addiction. Co-signed by Johnny Griffith. No tar and no carcinogens. Live the vape life and never smoke a cig again. Get hit from the pod like, blow a big cloud from the mod like, smoke it on a break from your job like, certified vapors diploma. Smell the aroma, hit it when you drive like, smoke it at a shop inside like, smoke it with your friends on a ride like, certified vapors diploma. Smell the aroma.
What do you have planned for the future with your music and stuff? Anything?
Yeah, man. Well, right now you could catch me on Instagram. I participate in a weekly rap contest. There's a producer out there by the name of Time Flex Beats. I'm sure you see me dropping, pretty, frequently. Well, he started this thing last year, season 1, where it's called the Time to Flex Rap Contest. And what he does is he puts weekly. He put a beat out there weekly, and he has all different artists just write to the beat, right?
Okay.
And then after the season finishes, which I think might be in like March or April, I forget when he ended it last time, but he runs it for a couple months. And what he does is he reviews each week, and then he picks winners from each week. And then what he does is he'll reach out to you, and he's putting together a mixtape. And he's going to, give all the artists that make it onto the mixtape, royalties,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like, it's a contest. You got to win. Like he'll pick winners. And season 1, I didn't get to participate every single week, but I think I made it on 2 songs that I already recorded and sent to him. So when that mixtape drops, sometime this year, I'll be on there with 2 tracks.
Oh, that's awesome.
So right now, that's pretty much what I'm doing, man. Just keep the pen sharp, and I'll write those pretty quick, man. Like when I do drop them, I pretty much wrote them that day. Like I don't write them and sit on them. I write them, then I record them, and like just post the shit,
Right.
And I got some stuff in the vault too. I don't know what I'm gonna do project wise yet. I don't know. Well, I do actually. I'm working with the producer who did the whole John E = MC Square album. We got a couple tracks that we talked about possibly dropping an EP. And one of those tracks is the track that I sent you,
okay,
called Eventide.
Right.
But it's unique. It's a blend of, you know, his instrumentals have like real instruments in them, and it's just dope, you know. And it's just from like a music standpoint, you know, it's going to be a dope project.
Right.
It has more elements than just hip hop to it. Obviously, I bring the hip hop element with the rapping, and you know, there are hip hop elements to the beat too. But there's also some, like, you know, one of the songs that we have, I actually have the video on my YouTube. It's called So Bad, and there's a dude in there playing the violin. You know what I mean? And it was fire, you know?
Man.
So yeah, he definitely has been dabbling with the live instruments, and his name is Greg. You can find him on Instagram, Greg Beats. And you can get his beats at gregbeats.com. So we're going to have probably an EP dropping at some point this year. It's in the preliminary discussions. We got about 2 tracks recorded already, and I got like a couple that aren't recorded that are written already. And, you know, that's one project that, you know, should be dropping this year.
Yeah, oh, that's great. I'm honored to have the Eventide song, and to have you never played before.
Yeah,
exclusive.
Man. Unreleased, exclusive. Bro,
Unreleased.
That shit is so packed with fucking entendres and the whole nine, man. Like, that's one of my favorite like works as of late, you know what I mean? Just because it was just so packed with, like, you know, so many different elements and like puzzles and like one thing feeding off of the other and connecting it all, and you know what I mean? So I don't know if you even got a chance to listen to the shit yet, but you know, when you get a chance,
briefly, right before the meeting started.
Yeah, man.
I listened to it briefly. I just want to make sure that it came through. I was listening to it. I was enjoying it, and then I said, "Let's get this meeting started," and then I'm going to go back to it later and take a more deep listen, because, like I said, I like to listen, you know, a real deep and try to, you know, figure out everything. So,
absolutely,
so I definitely look forward to listening.
You know, I appreciate you for taking the time, man, to interview me, and also for taking the time to actually look deeper than just the surface level of my lyrics and figure them out. You know, that's an honor, man. And thank you for that. Appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you, and it's an honor having you on. And like I said, since I first found you, I've just been, you know, following as close as I can, and you know, it's nice to, you know, see somebody who's so passionate about, you know, about the music and putting it out there and just following through. Because one of the themes that I'm you know, kind of following with this a podcast is that, you know, people that don't follow through and they give up a lot of times, where you know, I want to show, you know, success stories, people that follow through with everything, you know. I mean, you know, and you just been grinding away and hustling, making that music, and you know, it's like, you know, and you could hear and you can see the passion in everything that you do and the heart that you put into it. And so, I mean, you know, a lot of props for that. And that's what caught my attention to begin with. And here we are. Was it 3 years later, maybe?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know, so, but yeah, definitely
appreciate you, man. And hey, www.youtube.com/Johnny Griffith Music. Subscribe to my channel, man.
Subscribe to him right now. Stop what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
And subscribe and follow Music. Right now.
Johnny Griffith Music. That's John, JOHN, EGRIFFITH Music. Subscribe to my shit.
And now we're gonna have the exclusive, unheard track on Coffee and Clouds podcast. And here it is, Eventide.
Staring at a clock, looking at it tick. If I had it on my wrist, I would watch. Maybe I should stop. Wait another 24 seconds, then shoot for the top with a shot. Shooting my shot, feeling like the road team, home team, rooting for a brick or a block. Be quick with the rock. Maybe I should stop with the b-ball scheme. All tricks for the track, like Harlem with the heat. I do it to a T. Need a booker for the globe. I travel with a team. I'm building a brand. I've listened to the coaches since the first class. Now we take flight till we land. Student of the game, learning as I go. I can never lose hope, so I play through the pain. If I'm made to be worth it, mistakes will be made. And I learned if you are waiting for a day to be perfect, you ain't working.
Trying to hold, but my hands keep shaking. Keep composure just enough to fake it. My hearts are breaking in the eventide.
First rap with a merch burst, purchasing the shirts first. Tongue twisters, the lung rippers, catch a breath. Steady pacing, be very patient, the very best. To ever do it, if gone through it, don't ever get discouraged, cause this courage, the very men at the top of the mountain had to build up enough of to reach for their dreams with this very pen. Gotta follow the steps that they have taught us, cause shortcuts will lead to the means of every end. No justification if you think cutting corners will offer rewards, you are mistaken, it's the wrong view. Gotta think big picture, macro vision, see with a long view. Longevity is more of a goal, being a troll is a way to fail and form enemies.
Trying to hold but my hands keep shaking. Keep composure just enough to fake it. My hearts are breaking in the even day. I don't wanna fall, I don't wanna lose faith.
I'm the dopest with these potent rhymes and great flow to ask why I say so like a Doja line. Faith, hope, and great quotes take an open mind to a higher level by design. I'm supposed to shine. Temptation leads to lows and lies. For fuck's sakes, fuck snakes. This Johnny ain't Cobra Kai. Take the apple out your open eye. Try to tempt you with it coming for the throat at the neck of Griffith. Adam's apple, what you want? Bumping Eve, evil battle, rough riding through the game. Gotta straddle saddle, running circles on tracks like Preakness. Reaching the peak of greatness, fuck weakness. Trying to speak this into existence, no resistance from Instagram into the richest man the family ever seen. When I die, bury me with a piece of evergreen. Say goodbye.